Okay, guys, yesterday you practiced how to read and analyze text. You used part of the question and the answer. So today we're going to learn to answer a question that has a part A and B. So you'll see here part A, you will make an inference based on the text evidence. And remember, in inference, you're using the information that you know to make a guess at what the characters are thinking or what is going on, and when the author doesn't directly tell you. In part B, you're going to choose the supporting text evidence that matches part A. Okay, so we're going to look at the actual questions that you're going to be using for the story Bear. All right, so it's going to look like this, Bear two-part questions, and this is actually a Google kind of a test, a Google form that the link will take you there directly. So I'm going to reread the story Bear, and there is a link to the story in here. But I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to kind of go through these questions. On Saturday, Jenna walked toward the garage to get her bike. All of a sudden, bushes near the garage started shaking. An instant later, a huge furry head, then shoulders, emerged from behind the leaves. Gina's next thought was a single word, bear. Gina's fourth grade class at Smithtown Elementary School had discussed recent bear sightings. Her teacher had posted a sign about what to do if anyone saw a bear. Gina never expected that one would show up in her backyard. Now she was glad she had read those rules for keeping safe near bears. Gina knew not to look the bear in the eyes or to run away. The sign said to make noise, so Gina started yelling and banging her bike helmet. She slowly backed toward the house. Fortunately, the bear never approached her. "Mom, there's a black bear in our yard," Gina shouted as she burst into the kitchen. Her mother raced down the stairs and looked out the window. The bear was climbing the big maple tree in their yard. Gina's mother quickly found a phone number for the State Wildlife Service. Within 10 minutes, 2 officers were at their door. Gina pointed to a low branch of the maple tree, where the bear had settled. The officers went to their van and brought out a gun. "They're going to kill the poor bear?" Gina said. "No, that's a tranquilizer gun," her mother said. "They'll shoot the bear with medicine to put the bear to sleep. Then the officers can take it away." "What will happen to the bear?" Gina wondered. "The officers will take the bear to a forest away from town and release it." After the bear was safely stowed in the animal control van, one of the officers thanked Gina and her mother for their call. "Be sure to tell your neighbors to put their garbage in place where bears can't reach it," he said. "Bears can smell food from a long distance. Raiding garbage cans is easier than hunting for food, so bears will keep coming back if people aren't careful. I promised to tell my whole class about it on Monday." Okay, so in your assignment, you'll go back and you'll reread that story. But we're going to look at the questions. So the first question says this question has 2 parts. Answer part A and part B. Part A. Based on the story Bear, how can you tell that wildlife officers might visit Gina's neighborhood again? So we have some choices here. Gina's teacher discusses bear sightings at school. Bears often come when people leave their garbage cans out. Gina's mother calls wildlife officers for help. Or the officers put bears to sleep and take them to a forest away from town. So all of these sound like they actually happened in the story, okay? But we have to figure out what answers the question. So based on the story Bear, how can you tell that the wildlife officers might visit Gina's neighborhood again? So I remember that the officers were ready to leave at the end of the story. So I would go to the end of the story and kind of start looking at what they did. In paragraph 10, one of the officers explains that bears will keep coming to the neighborhood if people leave their garbage, where animals can reach it. From this clue, I can conclude that the officers might have to visit Jenna's neighborhood again if people continue to leave their trash out. I would kind of make a note of that in my head, and then I'm going to look back at the answer choices and see if any of those match. So it looks like if I look at B, or the second one, bears often come when people leave their garbage cans out. Okay, so I would click that one. Now, in part B, you have to figure out which detail from the story supports the answer to part A. Well, we have Gina never expected that one would show up in her backyard. These are direct quotes from the story. Within 10 minutes, 2 officers were at their door. The bear was safely stowed in the animal control van. Or raiding garbage cans is easier than hunting for food, so bears will keep coming back if people aren't careful. If you're looking at each answer choice and you're trying to identify what part of the story it's taken from, well, I believe that if I look at these choices here, I recognize that choice answer A is how Gina feels when she first sees the bear. Okay, she never expected that one would show up in her backyard. That doesn't have anything to do with the officers returning to the neighborhood, so I'm going to eliminate that one. Answer B tells about the wildlife officer's first visit to Gina's house. That doesn't really have anything to do with whether or not they would come back again, so I'm going to say no on that one. The fact that officers catch the bear and put it in their van, that doesn't explain why they might have to come back again. However, D, the last one, raiding garbage cans is easier than hunting for food, so bears will keep coming back. That one sounds like it would be text evidence to support that the officers would be coming back to the neighborhood. Okay, so if we move down to the other set of questions, let's see, this question has 2 parts. Part A, based on the story Bear, what can you tell about Gina? Well, our first thing is that she cares about animals. Okay, well, we could think about that. Do we think she cares about animals? What would she have said to indicate that? Her favorite subject is science. I don't remember anything about science in there. She plans to be a vet one day. Don't remember that either. Or she knows a lot about wildlife. Okay, so if I look at that, the clear answer here would be A, because Gina says things in the story that show she cares about animals, even though she's afraid of the bear. In part B, which sentence from the story supports the answer to A? So you're looking for one that goes with the fact that she cares about animals. So in the best answer here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this one, is D, are they going to kill the poor bear? Jenna asked. The other ones don't have anything to do with her being nice about animals. Her 4th grade class at Smithtown Elementary School had discussed recent bear sightings. That doesn't mean she loves animals. Now she's glad she had read those rules for keeping safe near bears. That doesn't say she cares about animals. Mom, there's a black bear in our yard, Jenna shouted. Again, that doesn't support she cares about animals. Are they going to kill the poor bear? Jenna asked. That does support that she cares about animals. Okay, so you will go into your Google Classroom. Okay, you're going to go down and you will pick this assignment, 2-part collect response questions. You're going to go in, and as soon as you click that, as long as you were signed in to your computer as yourself, then these will come in. All you do is read the story over and answer these questions.